Such a pleasure to chat to you. Thanks a lot for taking the time. What an incredible film. I watched it just this morning, still kind of reeling from it. So much inspiration in it, so much hope, so much optimism. But there's obviously that double-edged sword of knowing that even today, the situation for women all across the world, but particularly in Afghanistan, is actually worsened. I guess for people, though, who haven't seen Rule Breakers yet, you could give us a brief intro. What can people expect when they see the film?
Hey, first of all, it's a pleasure. And I think that I hope that the people, when watching this film, they see a young group of young girls that, despite the challenges that face, they refuse to give up their dreams. They want to be the creator, and they want to be, it's a story about actually resilience, innovation, the power of that, a single opportunity that can change a life. So I hope that people see that and inspire that, but by courage of the Afghan girls, that they and see that the Afghan women are capable and talented.
And when was it first proposed to you that they would make a film about your story, about this story, and particularly having someone like Bill, Oscar-winning director, come on board? I mean, that must just have been a dream come true.
Of course, it's back in 2019, and I know one of our board members is her name's Elizabeth Brown. She brought out that opportunity if we making these stories and as a movie, and her brother Jason was a friend of Bill, and both of them, I think, the writers, and that's how they set up the meetings, and we had the chance and opportunity to have a call, and we started discussion. And obviously, first it was discussion and about the story, but I think that it was for me it was a beautiful experience because I believe that directors has done, and obviously whole team of the cast did a great jobs. They approached the film with with so much empathy and the respect, and the making sure that they honor the real people behind of the stories. And I feel that they understood the story is not just about the hardship, but it's about joy and cultural innovation, and obviously that incredible potential of the young women, and the dedication that made this film sin.
And for you, Nicole, were you already familiar with this story? It's not one that I'd picked up in the press, of this, all-female robotics team from Afghanistan, and of course Roya's story. And when the script sort of landed in your lap, what was your first thought?
I had heard of Roya before, but it took me a minute to make the connection. Actually, I think I'm always drawn to stories that ask bigger questions about, especially the systems we grow up in, our sense of identity, agency, and the systems we grow up in. It's been a theme in my own life, being the child of immigrants, and that definitely drew me in. And I find that Roya's story is so inspiring and empowering, and really reminds us what's possible when women are given an opportunity. What these girls were able to achieve with even just like a fraction of an open door is pretty incredible. And I think it can give us all, motivate us all to really follow our dreams, to have the courage to push against systems that of injustice. And it's just a great honor to be a part of a story that's inspiring and empowering and hopeful.
I guess it must be kind of a unique opportunity to be able to play a real life person who you can even consult on aspects of the story and the details. But of course, at some point, you also need to find your own way into the character. So how did you approach that? And how did you see Roya as a person? This incredible fire she has in her belly, her persistence, her tenacity. How did you approach her?
I think in my conversations with Bill at the very beginning, he made it clear that they weren't interested in doing a kind of like impersonation of Roya. So that definitely gave me a little, some freedom and some room to breathe, and really try to explore and connect with her as a human, as a person, as a young woman. You know, we see Roya through different stages of her life, even as a young girl, and I think the film does a really good job of tracking that fire in her belly, and which is something that I can relate to as well. And then I had the unique opportunity for the first time playing a real person. So there's a lot of material to discover on the internet of Roya, speaking in interviews and sharing her mission, and also even TED Talks, with the Afghan Dreamers. So there was like a plethora of incredible material for me to just like really get caught up in and obsessed with. And at the end of the day, I think the entryway is the same as any other character. You're trying to understand them and advocate for them, understand what makes them tick, and connect to that fire that drives them.
And for you, Roya, I mean, what was it like seeing Nikohl take on that role? What kind of input did you want to have? And I guess at what moment did you also kind of need to let go of the story and let it be told by these actors, be told by Bill?
I think that when I was first watching the film was emotional because bring back the memories and the old memories and good memories, and obviously emotional memories of that the time that we spend in together as a team. We build everything, and obviously it's emotional, but it's also overwhelming. But in the same time, we are so proud that Bill. We allow that the teams. I mean, Bill and his Nikohl and many other cast members told our story, which with such a beautiful and powerful way. We appreciated that, and it was a beautiful experience for us. And also, I think that for us was like to telling these stories during that time. When we decided to build a movie, our message was that we have to closing digital gap, and no matter where the girls are living, we needed to give them the opportunities that they can be the next talented, the next engineer or scientist. Today, the message, as you at the beginning of the interview mentioned, it's changed. Obviously, it's the same that we want that this movie could be inspire the girls to come to the STEM, because the STEM is the future, and we hope that. This movie is inspired them and inspired people to support one girl's education or open the door in their communities. And I think that the film made their changes, but in the same time, I hope that this movie tell that the stories of the Afghan girls, what talented they were and how capable they are, and what's happening today in Afghanistan is heartbreaking, because the same opportunity that was exist with all of the challenges before is not exist anymore. And 2.2 million Afghan women are banned from attending secondary and higher education. And many of the women today, they don't have, voices. They don't have a job. They don't have access to job or justice or even healthcare. What happened in Afghanistan is a gender apartheid. So I hope that these movies also open that conversations that, what happening in Afghanistan is a gender apartheid, and we have to call it and we have to name it. And yeah.
And there's a line, I think, because obviously the backdrop of the film is the sort of rising control of the Taliban. I can't remember who says it to Roya, to your character, Nikohl. Oh, well, they're all in their caves with their goats. And I think that line hits differently now, knowing, well, actually, that's not the case. So is it kind of interesting, both when you were making the film, but now watching it back now, having that context in mind, that actually things have regressed rather than progressed since this story really happened?
We building the movie, we never thought that the Taliban come back to the power, and it was a shock for everyone. What is happening in Afghanistan is not a cultural issue; it's systematic discrimination. It's a gender apartheid. Afghan and Iranian women are fighting the same fight, the right to exist in the public life. We needed to name it in the first step forward, confronting it. Silence only strengthens the cruel regime like a Taliban, and and Iranian regimes. And I couldn't even thought that the Taliban take over again. I mean, I was in the first regime of the Taliban when they took over in 1996, and they take our rights to our dreams to go to the schools. But today, the girls remembering going to the school. Today, the girls remembering to go and teaching at the schools or researching, and they're remembering that they had the businesses. They're remembering that they could easily go to the hospital. They're remembering that becoming a doctor or a judges. Today, all of this dream, all of this remembering, everything is taken away from them. It is a crime against of the dignity. It's a crime against of the humanity, and also it's a threat to the peace. And we must to name it, and we must call out this regime, but also call out those who supporting this type of people in the regime. Call out the people who giving their embassies to the regime of the Taliban, a cruel regime, that only regime in the world that make 20 million women or half of their population live in open prison. And it's like, it's a prison. They don't have any rights, even have basic rights. So, sorry, I get a little bit emotional, but I believe that silence only strengthened the oppressor.
And for you, Nicole, did that bring an extra weight to, both you and your fellow actors, that you're not just retelling a story, from way back when in history, but one that's truly current? And I guess in retelling these stories, it's a kind of rebellion as well, by putting a spotlight on what these women are capable of, which sort of like flies in the face, obviously, of what the regime is saying that women are capable of.
Well, we always have art, and art is in a healthy society, art is there to put a mirror up against ourselves as a society. And I'm so lucky to have grown up in the West, obviously, to have this opportunity to tell these stories. I know I have family still in Iran who don't, and I think it's very valuable for them to see these stories, see it on a screen, see their stories told, and be reminded of their own resilience, their own courage, their own talent, and be reminded that when possibilities present themselves, like talent follows always. That when the doors open, young women especially will step through with creativity, with intelligence, with resilience. Yeah, the story is very close to my heart. I feel it's interesting. Even my mom was she was in the group of women that in Iran before the revolution, the Shah had trained to be in the to work the computers in the army. She was an airline computer technician. And for her, even at that time, even pre-revolution, she found technology to be this doorway to freedom, doorway to equality. That's what this story shows us as well. Roya's story, all the work she does with technology for girls, for women's rights around the world.
And I guess in contrast to that political backdrop, there is so much sort of warmth and excitement and inspirational moments, in the movie. Maybe from the shoot, do you have a favorite scene, perhaps working with these incredible girls, working opposite Ali, and of course Phoebe Waller-Bridge there at the end? I was like, oh, that's such a great cameo to have in the movie.
Wow. Yeah, there was so much warmth and excitement. I mean, doing a film with these young girls, they're not teenagers, obviously, like they are in the film, but still, it was a few of them, it was their first film, and we were shooting in these incredible locations in Budapest and Morocco, incredible crews, and being able to witness them having this experience for the first time, and their passion and their excitement, and for them to be given that opportunity was so beautiful, so exciting. And I think my favorite scene is probably the scene, I mean, it's really hard to pick, but I have such a beautiful memory of filming that scene with Noreen's character, Ali, who plays Roya's brother. And when they're walking and she tells him the idea of what she wants to do and kind of like convinces him and gets him on board. We shot that at the very end of the day. We threw it in this gorgeous location. And Noreen is such a lovely actor and human. And yeah, that was a really beautiful moment. I think it really sets the film up and also reminds us that it takes, yes, Roya is the visionary, but it takes a village. It takes a whole village to make the impossible possible.
And I'm almost out of time, but I guess from both of you, you know, if there could be an impact of this film, obviously one movie's not going to change politics or, you know, prejudices against, you know, women all across the world. But if it, I guess, can inspire some young girls to go into tech, to go into STEM or something different that they think might be beyond their means, that could be a great impact. What do you hope people take away?
I think that technology is a new, language of power, and when the girls learn it, they can gain agency, and they can go from being users to creators. Whether it is if they lives in Herat or Trento, I think digital skills gives them access and dignity. And STEM is not a subject; it's survival tools, but also is about the future. And I hope that the women and girls are getting involved with this subject as early as possible.
And for you, Nikohl?
I hope people walk away feeling really inspired to be courageous, to question the systems and roles they've inherited, or that they're you know, the injustice that we're seeing around us, and to ask ourselves, like, what happens when we stop following the script? What happens when someone tells us their dream and we support them, when we support our girls.
Have you already got a next role lined up after this one?
I'm doing a lot of other new kind of creative work. I'm building a hopeful kind of a center for creative retreats in the desert here in California. So that's like been so exciting for me. And lots of new roles, lots of new hats I'm putting on with that.
Amazing. Sounds very appealing. I'd love to do that. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congratulations on this incredible film. And I can't wait for everyone else to see Rule Breakers. Thanks so much.